Hello and welcome back to our kindergarten through 8th grade general music PLC. This is topic 7, segment 2, and in this segment we're going to be talking about math alignment with music. In the literacy topic and the social studies segment, I showed you this website, the georgiastandards.org website, and how to find the standards. For math, I want to show you something that is a little bit interesting. So I can click on the K through 5 grade level band when I go to the Georgia Standards for Excellence dropdown, and that will give me the K through 5 standards. And like I showed you with social studies, it's a one long document, so you can do Control F and see any specific topics that you want to look for. But another option is to go to the drill down, and instead of choosing the grade band here, if you click Mathematics and see it in case format, if you click on Mathematics, it kind of gives you a breakdown by major topic. So in kindergarten, counting and cardinality, operations and algebraic thinking, number and operations in base 10, measurement and data, and geometry. So this kind of talks about big picture topics and what specifically they're talking about in each grade level. Here in 3rd grade, you can see number and operations is fractions, for example. So if you wanted like a kind of a bird's eye view, high level view of what they're talking about and different topics they're talking about in each grade level for math, here's where you can find that. So again, that was the Georgia Standard for Excellence. Go to, instead of clicking on a grade level band, clicking on Mathematics, and then that is under Access the Mathematics K-12 GSE in case format. And there you can find that for all of our subject areas. For example, if we checked on Fine Arts and did music, elementary, general music, kindergarten, sign up the same thing. It'll be our 4 different domains of creating, performing, responding, connecting. So it's kind of that higher level category of standards. Okay, so now that I've shown you that, here are some specific ways that we can make that connection with music and math. And again, like I said in the former segment, this does not mean that you're becoming a math teacher. You are still a music teacher, but this is how you can incorporate some of those concepts so that for the benefit of the student, they're seeing and making those connections outside of just the isolation of math class. So in our music class, we talk a ton about patterns, and this is a very important mathematical concept as well. I currently am teaching form to my students right now, and so it's all about patterns. Rhythm is all about patterns. Often melody is all about patterns. A lot of music is. So this is a really good way to bring in that mathematical concept. A really obvious one is fractions and rhythm. I would advise to note that 3rd grade is really where fractions first come in the math standards. So in my personal practice, I actually don't teach the terms quarter note or quarter rest or half note or half rest until 3rd grade, until the students have that mathematical understanding of where those fraction names come from. So up until 3rd grade, so like in kindergarten, 1st and 2nd grade, in my practice, in my school, I have the students identify those rhythms as just ta and tati. Interestingly enough, the note names themselves are not in the music standards, at least not in K through 5. So it's kind of up to you where and when you give them the official quarter note name. My personal preference is that I do it, again, when 3rd grade is learning about fractions, and then we can reinforce that in 4th and 5th grade and above. Another thing I do in my class all the time is I will have the kids help me with dividing into groups. So let's say that we have 8 instruments and 24 students. How many different turns will we need to take so that everyone has a turn? 8 divided by 24, etc. So is 3, by the way, just in case I didn't know that. So I'll have my students help me with that all the time. Another idea of bringing in math is meter and counting beats, and this can also be applied for mixed meters. So if we're in a meter of 5, what are some different combinations of how we can count that? Can we do 2 and then 3? Can we do 3 and then 2? If we're in a meter of 7, can it be 2, 3, 2 or 3, 2, 2? How are we going to divide those mixed meters? We can also talk about the terminology and connection with geometry. Specific examples are an octagon has 8 sides and an octave has 8 pitches, and a pentagon has 5 sides and a pentatonic scale has 5 pitches. You can talk about the composer age at death subtraction. So you can do so-and-so died in such year, subtract that year from 2022, how long has it been since they died, or if they were born in such year and then they died in such year, what was the age at death? So my students are always really interested in seeing how old were they when they died and also how long have they been dead, which is, I guess, a little morbid, but they're into it. So it's a good, quick moment to bring in math. You can bring in mathematical ratios for size and pitch. So I use boomwhackers a lot in my classroom, and we talk about how the low octave C is twice as long as the high octave C. And so we can talk about that ratio there. And also we're going to talk about this in the science connection, how the size affects the pitch. And then there's songs, just like there were songs about social studies concept like the preamble, there's songs about various mathematical concepts. So the one that pops into my mind is Weebly Wheat. And so we'll do the game with that, and they'll talk about the multiplication and the addition, and that's a good practice for them. So these have been ideas of how to align music with math. Next we'll do music and science alignment.